Welcome back, everybody. Here we are. We're doing things. We're questioning things. Uh, just based on what I've seen in bench testing, I don't know how well these aluminum beadlocks are going to hold on to these tires, or if the weight of aluminum beadlocks is specifically a good or bad idea. We are going to find out. I have soldered the frenemy connector, IC5, EC5, whichever one the generic actually is. Oddly, the package comes with one battery strap. I mean, it seems like it'll be fine, but there's definitely two slots. So I guess that's if you're running a really short battery and you only need one strap to hold it down. There's been no further progress made on setting the interior as the non-spectrum speed control that's in there. This gentleman, his wires come out the side, right like that, and we won't fit. I do have some other options should these provide not to be up to the task of holding the tires on. I don't recall buying these, but I have some, the regular, I think they're J Concepts. I have plastic beadlocks, if that is a necessity. Worst case scenario, I have the glue-ons. I also have the stock tires from the Wendigo. I have a former set of Zoidberg's wheels and tires. These are all glued on, and somewhere in this building I have a set of 2.2 Duratrax Showdowns. So if it slings the tires off and I just want to keep it going, I can do that. I have a couple options for that. I've also dug into the bins and found a positively ancient Speed Passion Certix 2200 censored. It works. It fires up just fine. It sounds really smooth. There's something clearly wrong with it, which is I think why it was replaced back in the day that it was replaced, because powered up under no load, just sitting there, it gets up to about 130 degrees. I feel like that's a problem, but I also feel like it will probably run on there, and we can see what censored looks like. I never remember to turn that off because I've complained about this Spectrum 1900 before, and like this is why. It's got the fidelity of a brick. So that aside, this is a kit Ryft assembled basically to a kind of RTR plus status, as from a little bit of Googling has shown me that the RTR does not come with a 2-speed or a sway bar. I don't know if this servo is really going to be enough. That actually seems fine. And what we're going to do right this moment is find out. I weeded. I weeded quite a lot because I thought it looked terrible. And I was like, well, we're going to film a little bit. We might as well make it presentable. So here is the first tip-in of throttle of the kit-built Axial Ryft with no interior or body panels, with an Amazon cheapo servo doing the steering duties, a Hobby Wing 120 amp censored speed control, before I even drive it, pretty terrible Spectrum 1900 kV, kind of 550 size, I don't know what they actually call them, and a sometimes works 2-speed. It should be in low right now, memory serves. Okay, so the chainsaw of the gearbox, you know, it's startlingly smooth. Like, I don't know what I expected. I might have drag brake up just the tiniest bit too hot. Yeah, maybe a little. I gotta kind of finesse it off throttle. This is low. It's also really surprising me in how stable it is. Like, I thought there was going to be a lot more pitch to it with how, I mean, that's some ground clearance right there. So we might as well, you know, we're probably gonna start messing stuff up, whether it be a tire or a plastic part or something. But we're gonna you know, again. That was pretty cool. Let me get through the dust here. Look, it's gone. I thought about watering this all down, but then I was like, I mean, you know, if you're not kicking dust, what are you even doing? So let's come straight back at us here. Watch the drag brake. maybe it's not too much. You know, I second guess. Like, my temptation is always to make changes before changes are necessary. I don't know. It's brisk. And I am amazed at how quiet it is. Like, there's no plastic gears in this at all. It's metal on metal everywhere. Let's give it a proper, like, shoot off though here. Huh? Wasn't bad for a turtle roll. Side up there. Oh, got a little stoppy action there. Yeah, that is amazingly stable. I have to give it that, absolutely. Shift, oh, okay, the shifting is working. What I will say is, I don't explicitly know why yet, but not the low speed control, but like, that's minimum, that's as slow as this will go. Any amount of just placing my finger on the trigger, it moves at that speed. That's a decent turning radius for a vehicle of this size, I must say as well. But also, again, as just changing directions here entirely, as much as I love a 2-speed, I mean, for hooning, yeah, you want to go quicker, but I feel like that might be enough. So 1900 kV, I don't know. I think for me, personally, I think something like 1200 kV might be more suited to what I am eventually going to want to do with this. Now again, this is a rock bouncer, not a fly around on flat dirt. Though it is remarkably well composed on nice, flat, loose dirt. I had mentioned in the previous video the Wendigo. On this exact terrain, I will attempt to do a similar flyby. Like this, what I just did right there, you couldn't even get the Wendigo to go in a straight line. It would just, because it has so much torque steer. Like this guy, the body, you get a little bit of body pitch, a little squat. The Wendigo, under any amount of throttle, would lift a front tire, and then the torque steer and the bump steer would combine to where when that tire dropped back down and touched the ground, it would just somersault it. This guy, I don't think there's enough pure traction out here to somersault it. Even with when I just come off throttle, it just slides. It's a very rewarding slide. But it's right in its name, rock bouncer. So with some liquidy, soft and smooth, just 80,000 weight. Now I do have stiffer weight oils, but again, internet research has led me to believe that the included gear differential's not the toughest things that there are. So spools are quite likely in the future, but like, what can we do? I mean, all right, that's you know what? I'm okay with that. I think a little. I mean, you can hear the clickety clackety, clickety clackety. So there's definitely some more. It needs heavier oil for sure. Like we'll get. Like if we try to do anything slow, wow, it's doing so much better than I thought it would on that weight of oil. I think with a spool in there, oh, that's okay. That's drag brake 100%. I don't know if that's just like, this is a speed control that's not, you know, this is not a crawler speed control in here, but it will peg leg pretty good. Yeah, look at that front. This is an interesting torture test right here. Oh, that just, yeah. It's already just opened that front diff wide open. And mind you, it's a spool in the middle, so we're doing 50-50 torque spool. You kind of got to give it the brap. Steady state, like, it doesn't explicitly crawl. What we can do is, oh yeah, I mean that's a different kind of fun. So I think with the Ryft, what I'm going to be looking to be doing is find out what combination of diff assembly enables it to do both this and this. Oh, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, I get it. I get that. Let's get a little further over here. Put up this little cut. I feel like censored is a must. Honestly, I can't tell. Did it? Yeah, it shifted. But even with 1900 on 3S, that first gear is pepperoni. It is very, yeah, just like stuff like that. You gotta let off throttle more than you want to. But you know, I do love like a Formula off-road type of environment. I don't, oh. What do you got, Jage? Yeah. I don't specifically have an environment like that, but I can do a kind of simple approximation. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. This is very King of Hammers. I understand how people break these. There was a time when 4S was the realm of 8th scale buggies. And if you've ever worked with an 8th scale buggy, they are beefy. Like, by crawler standards, this thing is pretty beefy. Oh, that was nice. By 8th scale standards, this thing, I wouldn't rank it butterfly, but like we might go hummingbird. Like, nothing on here is as substantial as what would come on an 8th scale. Yet this thing is 8th scale. So I think 3S is probably the butter zone, at least for me. Yeah, it needs heavier. Yeah, my initial anticipation was like, because of my experience with the Wendigo, because of my experience with the laser nut, my expectations were low. I'll just come out and say that they were not. I did not have lofty expectations for the Ryft, because live axles and high speed don't super great go together. But in this zone, I mean, I know how I'm going to break it. When I do break it, I know how it's going to happen. Yeah, that's just, it's way too open. Like, that's great for dirt swirling, but if we want to rock bounce, honestly, I feel like million weight, you might as well just spool. Million CST is not enough. Like diffs aren't gonna get stiffer. When you keep running the oil in, they're just gonna get looser. And yeah, that I'm gonna chalk up to speed control motor combo, where when I go to reverse, it just, like, there's no curve entering reverse. It's just a launch. Wow, it's been on its wheels pretty much every time. I could put a Spectrum controller in here. I have one in another rig that can easily take a hobby wing without a problem. But I do want to test out that censored motor, even with its weird heat problem. Yeah, there is a good feeling there. But like I say, that descent there, that was about as slow as I can go. So aside from being dirty, first spin, that was tremendous. Let's not elevate it to blown away. It's got a lot of sauce. And it's like, I mean, it is rock crawling. It's just rock crawling in a very different way than I ordinarily do it. And because of the, like, let's just call it the velocities involved, I wanted to see if it can do anything slow. A lot of the obstacles here are essentially off limits because I can't go slow enough. But man, you see what power can do. Yeah, those tires are not bad at all. That was the crawleriest behavior I've seen from this yet. Yeah, I think honestly, I mean, Axial's recommendation of 2200 kV. That would be 2200 kV on 4S, which seems insane. As 1900 kV on 3S is a little hot if you want to actually take it on a rock. It goes, wow. It's got a lot of brake and a lot of reverse, that is for sure. It is a it is not a surgical instrument. This is a blunt object. How about up here over the tunnel? Yeah, no problem. Steering turning circle is roughly what I would expect. Wheelbase is quite long, tires are quite big. I mean, I guess, honestly, for something that can move with this much zest, that's probably, for mixed stuff, that's probably an appropriate amount of drag brake. I mean, obviously, if you want to get rocky, you need a little bit more hold. But that's not awful. That's not a deal breaker. And again, that's about a $50 speed control in there. So this is a cast-off motor from the laser nut and a $50 speed control that was in a different rig. So and a $17 Amazon servo. So as far as electronics in a kit Ryft goes, I went as absolutely economically as possible. That Ryft as it sits right there, not including the battery, obviously, is like maybe just over $300. Like maybe we'll call it $325 for that. For $325, this thing seems this seems outstanding. I don't know, I feel like the drag brake's getting better. Oh, that's aside from the desire, like, you know, the siren's call of 4S, again, if you want to know how people complain about the durability of a Ryft, like, you can get dumb. So I obviously can't speak to durability, but I can speak to engineering. Some assembly woes aside, the whole fastener thing, nice. The actual engineering, right? Bump steer, chassis geometry and design seems absolutely fine. I don't know how it would handle without a sway bar. I don't think I want to find out. I think, like, okay, this thing has, look at that. There's the cogaroo. You know, for what's in there, I'm changing my story as I go. For what is inside that vehicle, that amount of drag brake is basically fantastic. I put the most economical electronics in here. Mind you, I didn't buy any electronics for this. They were either in the / rustler that I disassembled, or they were in a bin. Like, I didn't take anything out to specifically put in this. Do I feel like it could use a more powerful servo? I mean, I feel like I want a more powerful servo. Does this 25 kg feel like it's actually doing it? It kind of does. Is the drag brake the best I've ever seen? No. Is the drag brake functional? It was enough to make it roll over on the downhill. Do I feel like I would enjoy a brushless system with certainly not more pep? I mean, we've got pep. Would I like more control? Yes. But again, that says nothing about the Ryft itself, which is so, as of this moment, pretty great. Oh, you can see it hung in the triangle. A little different approach. My problem here is that for this, what I would call fine stuff, I mean, I could just slap that Spectrum in there so we could get the RTR feel of this, but I think I'm going to put the censored motor in instead, the semi-defective censored motor, to see if I want to bother. You know, I'm still on the fence. Do I want to drop 200 plus in electronics in this? I don't know. It is fun, but yeah, you can see that nose pushing there, which is the servo, 100%. Woof. But do $200 worth of electronics make it $200 more enjoyable? I have no idea. As I was extricating it from the tunnel, I put my finger on the speed control and the motor, and they are ice cold. They are room temperature, which is something I have never experienced with that Spectrum motor. When it was in the laser nut, it could easily hit 160 degrees. I'm genuinely blown away with how quiet it is. Traction rolling is to be expected. The tires are tall. It sits pretty high. Yeah, suddenly the Traxxas 2065 seems like it's shifting it just fine. And before we take it in and throw a semi-defective censored motor in it, I feel like it's my duty to take it off at least one small jump. So, I mean, I would like to test this more, and I have another plan. I have a thought brewing in my head. So we're not gonna go real mental here. Ooh, okay. A bit more throttle in the air. That's fun. Yeah, I don't know. The drag brake, the drag brake really comes and goes. I don't know what that's about. Oh, I thought I was gonna do that one. Sweet. So the cheapest set of electronics I think I might own. Pretty great. Yeah, you just gotta peg it, because there's so much drag brake dialed in. Yeah, jumping things that also crawl rocks is an iffy proposition. I'm gonna give it the laser nut test here. We definitely have some contact there. I don't know if that's just it rattling against it when it drives, though. Yeah, there's no play in anything, which already puts it at least half a step above how the laser nut came out on its inaugural voyage. Wow, it jumps really good in reverse. One might argue, whoa, that was crazy. A rock bouncer's purview isn't necessarily jumping. And I mean, I'll provisionally agree with that. But hopping and bouncing is, and it's really good at that. Spectrum out. It's like slightly above room temperature right now. Sweet Passion Certex N, it just fits. Like it is actually touching the mount right there. So that's, I haven't mic'd it, but that is as long of a can as will fit in here. It's also 2200 kV, and I did not change the pinion gear. We will see, because like I say, there's something wrong. I don't know if it's the Hall sensor. There's something wrong with that motor, and I think that's why it was originally replaced. It still works, and it still rolls smooth, I think. There's a I don't know. Okay. Anyway, that's in there. Couple more kit notes. Changing the motor and or pinion. It's definitely not Capra bad. You can reach the screws pretty easily. The cover is nestled a little bit in behind that link mount, so you kind of gotta maneuver it out. Then getting the motor out was actually more difficult than getting the motor in. You essentially have to remove all the motor mount screws from the skid plate, because the whole mount needs to be able to shift just a little so that you can get the motor up and out of there, mostly because the shaft is so long. Like it was tough. It was really shoehorning it in and out of there. But still, it was less than 10 minutes to swap motors, and I think that's fine. Other non-kit positive note, it looks like it doesn't look like I have any bead poppers. It looks like everything is still holding. I had something else. That's the problem. That is the problem. So I feel like I probably need to get this particular testing done relatively quickly, as this motor just starts soaking heat as soon as you turn on the power switch. So I am going to find the heat gun. We're going to take this thing to a rock, and we're going to see... look at that guy. He survived a fire. Sitting 70 right now, which is good. Yep, that's what the rest of the rig is, basically. About 70 degrees. So let's get some quick twirl on this and see what it do. I did indeed, full disclosure, carry it out here instead of driving it, because I want to give the vintage Speed Passion a fair shake, and I still don't know what that heat issue is, but let us see. Well, I mean, okay, the Hall sensor is definitely still working. It's not the quietest motor you've ever heard, but oh yeah, censored all the way. Boy, do I get hung on that rock a lot? Is it just me? Okay, let's see. Let's see if she pops out here around the corner. There we go. That's the second one of the day. The standard American pocket gopher. Oh. That. Ooh, that was, I like that. That's the chainsaw sound you want. Ooh, yeah, I still think though. Okay, so censored for sure. Like this thing needs censored in it. But 2200, like this is the recommended. Are we in low? Or are we in high? Oh, we might be in high. Uh-oh. Okay, there's low. Okay, so that's triple censored recommendation, because look at it now. Oh. censored all day. Oh man, I thought it was mired there. That diff is just wide open. What it will do, boy, I need to move to a different spot because me and that rock, we got a relationship. Oh yeah. That is transformative. And see, not quite as poppy. Oh, that is good. Oh, how I wish that motor just didn't have some sort of... And then there's drag brake. Yeah, this really goes back to my repeating statements about Spectrum brushless motors. This Speed Passion motor it's got to be like 15 years old. It had something wrong with it when it was replaced from the rig that now has a Tekin T8 in it. And look at it hold. It's like whispery quiet. Look at it go. Oh, there's the worst case scenario for diffs with that light weight of oil in them. Getting a front on air and a rear on air. Oh. Rock bouncing is good, guys. It's like rock crawling, but it's different. Yeah, I want, ooh, almost jumped out of frame. I want more control, less speed. Speaking of speed, let's see what it looks like on the flat, ripping on the 2200. Oh, after I hit this with a laser. 110. Yeah, call it 110. One more over here. Come on. This is just fun. Who wouldn't want to do that? The sun emerges as we head out into the creamy beige. Some low action. Oh, just listen to how smooth that is. Oh, the level of control, like, oh, I wish you could feel what this is feeling right now. It's so silky smooth. So, it's the world's quietest chainsaw. That is good business. All right. I think I need to shift it when it's moving is the issue. Uh-oh. We're between gears. Yeah, there's back into low. Yeah, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna have to manually put it into high. Ow! Yeah, high is zazzy. Ooh, of course the wind is putting 3, 4. I think it was 4. We'll have to check the slow-mo on that. Look at this. Look at this smoothness. All right, couple rips, and then we'll pull a temp off. Way out of frame. Way out of frame. Coming back. Fly by. It's so surprising. Oh, I did it again. It's so surprisingly composed, off throttle, with the weight just transferring all over the place. 137. And well, here's the thing. If it doesn't keep climbing, then it might just be a matter of what is the smallest pinion gear I can fit in this thing? What is the smallest Mod 1 pinion gear I've got? Yeah, 100% drag brake on this speed control in the creamy beige feels right. Kind of tire lifts when it's cyclones, but there we go. We're settled in now for some Ken Block action. This is how you, if you really want to put heat in your motor. I still can't see it. There it is. It pops out. I like these tires. As we're bouncing and not crawling, they seem to have plenty of grip. 157. Again, these temperature readings have nothing to do with the Ryft, and everything to do with an old motor that like. What can possibly be wrong with the motor? I've changed the bearings. I've checked to make sure the comm isn't rubbing on anything. The rotor, like everything about this motor seems fine. In the hand, it spins perfectly smooth. It just gets hotter and hotter and hotter, even under no load. Like it would get this hot if the truck was just sitting still. Oh, that is good. Like, this is, for me, as a semi-reformed lifelong basher, the rig that can do that and then climb up a rock is like, I mean, that's the dream. It makes me wish that first and second were further apart. It's just, it's so smooth and so quiet. I had no expectation of that level of quietness or that level of smoothness, even with this motor. It seems to be settling in right around 160, which is hotter than I like to go, but it's not like danger zone hot. And as I've said, the motor's so old that it arrives. I want to hit rock again. Listen to these Chiefs. A couple of hooligans. The 2-speed, I don't know, like I felt like I had it set up. Oh, hello. I felt like I had it set up, but like it really wants to fall betwixt gears. So I mean, obviously. Oh, save it. All right. This vintage Speed Passion it's just making more torque than the Spectre. Gotta get a little better line here. Oh! But at the same time, just one man's opinion. But 2200, too much sauce. There's too much spice in the sauce. Man, it lives up to its name, 100%. Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun. And I'm not trying to do anything that I think will explicitly cause it to self-immolate. Like rock bouncer, it's rock bouncing. I cannot, like, maybe if I had, you know, a T-Max, I would be comfortable jumping something like this, but I don't feel like, to me, jumping this is hitting rocks, and I don't want to jump it, I want to bounce it. And I again, I got to give a little bit of credit to Axial here. While I still feel like the diffs could be closed a little tighter, as far as a do what I tell you rig goes, this thing is alarmingly capable. Once you eject me to the right. But I feel like, yeah. I don't know if my dream motor exists. I need a 550 censored, like, I don't know, maybe 1400 kV, somewhere in that area. Let's try. Let's try rock crawling, which with a 17-tooth Mod 1 pinion this is a big ask. And yeah, when a front tire gets hooked, the rear not so bad. Yeah, it's definitely a like burp, 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 burp on the throttle. This thing's a blast. Oh! And on its wheels a lot, which leads me to believe that its appearance of great height doesn't appear to actually reflect the CG in practice. Yeah, kind of the fun thing is trying to steady state it, like pick your line and then kind of try to. Oh, that's gonna roll. It's fun. And toy cars for grown-ups, I think the number one thing is it should be fun. Following that, it shouldn't be fragile, and this does not appear to be fragile. Oh, how I wish. Well, like I say, I will do a gearing test here sometime in the near future. I'm just trying to get it close to me, because maybe if it's geared down a little, I'm just hoping it's not above 160 right now. We might have had some kind of breakthrough. Did I knock out something in the motor? It is now sitting at 147, which is the most promising thing I can imagine, because if I can pinion this down to run on this speed passion, that part of that tickles me to no end, that this will be running on effectively the way I rationalize things in my head, $0 worth of electronics. So this is what the rig cost. There are no upgrade parts on this at all. 2200 with a 17 tooth is a little hot to crawl. But you can do dumb stuff with it. You can do, look at that go. Oh. And much as my history is with, oh, that's a good hold right there. Much as my history is with bicycles, where I don't understand people that have 10 of the same thing. So when I'm building a fleet of RC vehicles, I don't want a whole bunch of the same thing. Sure, I have multiple rigs on TRX4 axles, but they're all very different. I have multiple rigs on Element axles, but they're all very different. This thing is certainly not like anything else I own. This is the kind of rig you whip out when you're just like, I just want to go smash around in the yard and be responsibly dumb. And speaking of responsibly dumb, I think I've just mentally conceived a notion of the next phase of this guy's running. So that, what's in my head right now, will be the video for the next one. But this one has already gone on, oh, look at that, seemingly too long. So I will leave it at this. Let's try to get something. Thank everybody for watching, enjoying the time here with the Ryft. I don't know if I could be happier with it, honestly. It's really fun. And stay tuned for the next one, because I think that might be even more fun. Be sure to drop a comment below. Drop a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. And by all means, have a good one, everybody.